Hi everyone, my name is Cheryl. Welcome to my Happy Handcraft Studio. I took a break for about a month, then came back at the end of November. And I thought, why did I wait so long? The amount of wonderful comments I had from people, it just warmed my heart. Thank you so much for all of those comments. So when I talked to you last, it was definitely fall. And even right at the end of November, hardly any snow. The grass was starting to turn green. I'll have a picture here of one of the deer I was watching out of my studio window. I noticed the deer because they were really running back and forth. Like, it was unusual. They just tend to stroll and eat grass. And so after watching them, I could tell that they weren't happy about something. And that something turned out to be a bobcat, I think. Some kind of low cat that was stalking them. So there you can see the grass was brownish green, hardly any snow. And that went on until just a couple of days ago, when in like 24 hours in the foothills of Alberta, we got about 8 inches of snow, and it was beautiful. There's nothing like the world covered with wonderful white stuff, especially if you don't have to go anywhere. Like, it's the not having to go anywhere that really makes snow and winter so appealing. So I've had a really busy December. It seems like this is the time of year when everybody wants to get together. And so I've been to 2 quilt guild parties, a golf party to celebrate our summer of golfing, and there's a couple more to come. So I have really been enjoying the season so far. So I did get things finished, and if you see by my thumbnail, I fully finished my Prairie Schooler Santas. And so these Prairie Schooler Santas I started December 2021. So 2 years, and now I can actually display them. I'll just kind of show them one at a time. This one, I love this one because of the old sewing machine. And to finish, I made a rustic bow and a simple background. I might just be setting them up. I'm not sure if I'll put them on a tree because they are quite large ornaments. And then I have this one with the skating. I love this one, Winter Woods. That's what we have out there. Lots of different animals. And finally, the skiing Santa. So I'm really happy to have those all finished. Now, these were done on an 18 count Putty Khaki by Zweigart, and I used the called for DMC. The plaid I picked up, I thought really worked well with this color combination. So those are done, ready to be displayed. So I did offer the patterns as a giveaway, and I forgot to announce the winners last Flosstube, so I'll do them this time. So Owl, the one that I call Owl, it's actually the 2021. That went to S. Vance. And the 2006, I called it So. That went to Jen's Crafty World. 2010, I called Ski. That went to @Margie6534. And this last one, I called it Skate. It's the 2009. This went to @DonnaRamsey9122. So please contact me. My email address is in the description box below. Email me and I'll make sure you get these patterns. They'll be a nice little start to the holiday season. All right. So the big finish. The big finish is changing seasons. I said the last time that we talked that was going to be my priority. I was going to get Changing Seasons, the Fox and Rabbit Mystery Sal from 2022. I was going to get it done. And I did. I worked on it every single day with no other cross stitch came near. So I'll just grab that now. And I'll have a picture as well so you can see it better. I do love it, and I enjoyed stitching on it. I just didn't like stitching quite so long on it. So for people who aren't familiar with this sal, it was a monthly sal. So 1 month you would do this, 1 month this, and you continue around. And then in December of 2022, we were assigned the whole border. And at first I revolted. It was like, I'm not going to do that. That's too much. I'm done with this. But after about a month or so, I decided, yes, I would finish it. I do love it. The plan is to make it into like a table topper that I'll use in my study upstairs. So it's done. And there's a real freedom when you have a big project completed. So hopefully you'll see the finish of that soon. So now I'm a free person. I can work on anything I want, and it's December. So December, my plan was to do my different Christmas stitching. And that's about half of the whips that I already had. So I'm part of Semi-Sane Stitchers, and they have different little, not competitions, different little prompts, I guess you would call it. Prompts to encourage stitching. And so there's one called Stitch the Hundreds. And so every day you stitch around 100 stitches. And for that one, I chose SS089 Sampler Quaker Happy Mood Point. And that is this. And this is from Etsy, an Etsy shop. And all of the information is below in the description box. I'm doing this on a 32 count Lugana Pearl Gray, and I'm using DMC 3750. And I almost have the very first snowflake finish. So that's this here. That's almost done. On my markup RXP, it says that I'm about 2% finished. It feels like more than 2%, but I won't argue. We'll just see how long this takes. So yes, I am enjoying this, and it's great to do just over 100 stitches a day. There have been a couple of days where I've done more than 100 stitches because it's part of my Whip Wrangler prompts that I'm also doing on Semi-Sane Stitcher. And for this one, I'm doing the easy version. So you roll a die, you use some kind of random picker. I have Tiny Decision Wheel. And I use that to decide which of my whips I'm going to be doing for the day. And then I have another spinner that tells me how many stitches. So it's if you're using a dice, if you rolled 1, you do 100. Well, I'm doing the easy version, so I half it. So if I rolled a 1, which would be 100, I only have to do half, which is 50 stitches. So the most stitches I would ever have to do is 300, which is very reasonable, especially since I'm doing the 100 on the other one as well. So in Whip Wrangler, I have been working on Christmas Deer. Whoops. Christmas Deer. And this is from xcrossstitchpattermx on Etsy. And I'm doing it on Charlescraft 28 count Monaco white. So this is where I'm at. So yeah, I think if it's called a few more times, I should be getting pretty close to finished by Christmas. That would be great. I'd really like this one finished before the end of the year, and I think that's definitely a probability. Another one I'm doing from the same company is called Christmas Ball. Christmas Ball. And this I'm doing on a 27 count black Linda. And I'm using the called for colors. So you can see where I'm getting to. Liking that one. The next one I've worked on is Merry Christmas by Durene Jones. I'm not sure what this is on. It was on a vintage even weave khaki. I think it's a 16 count, and I'm using the called for DMC. And this is a cute one for the Christmas season. That one's fun. The border, you know, is kind of picky, but then you have nice big blocks of color down below. So I'm going to work my way back and forth with that. The next one is from Peppermint Purple. Now, Peppermint Purple does blackwork patterns. And if you like blackwork, go to Peppermint Purple and look at the kinds of things they've done in the past, because there is a free stitch along. It's 52 weeks, and you do a block of blackwork each week, and it turns out just lovely. I purchased this pattern called Baubles Galore, and it's Christmas ornaments. And I decided to use my thread colors from this Watermelon Tourmaline by Carolyn Manning. So the colors I'm using are what's left from this thread pack. And I'm doing it on the 14 count printed Aida by Charlescraft. So it's kind of a pinky purple. And I have 2 of the ornaments completed. And now I'm working on this one right here. So that one's fun. It's always nice to do the ones that are just sort of, you do one motif and you get it done. It's a real positive feeling. And then the last one is called Snow Globe. Again, this was an Etsy purchase. I don't think I'd recommend this pattern. I love the picture, but I don't know. I'm kind of suspicious about where this pattern might have come from. So this is on a linen. It's a Permian of Copenhagen 28 count. And I'm making good progress there. I love this blue color. So that's the stitching that I've been working on so far. And my plan for December is to work on those projects. Those are all my Christmas projects. And for me, December is all about doing the Christmas things. I really love making things for Christmas, and so that really works well. So I've been busy, you know, like I don't just cross stitch. I have to have 100 different things going. So I'm going to show you my temperature blanket. This is another one that I love, but I don't know if I'd recommend unless you want to crochet a rug. So this is my temperature blanket, and it is a free pattern at Michael's. It uses their, now the brand has changed since I started. The brand name, the yarn is the same. So it's this, I think that before it was called Smart Value or something like that. But the color names are the same for this. So this is where I've been working most recently. So just a frame of reference, for me, purple is cold. There has not been any cold. So it's rarely been, well, it's just been a little bit below zero. This was the summer. Red was when it was hot. And this was when I started last January. This is a very solid rug blanket. For a person who likes a weighted blanket, this will be perfect. It's getting to the point where it's heavy just to move around. But you know what? I do these things for fun. I don't mind how well they turn out. This is giving me 365 days of enjoyment. So what price can you put onto that? So it's great. So that is the temperature blanket. So that's been my crochet, my knitting. So this has been my knitting for the last few weeks. This is called the Saturday Shrug by Jackie Rose. And I believe it's a free pattern. I think so. I'll put the information down below. And for this, I used just like Michael's yarn inspirations. I don't think I brought it down. Again, I will list it. So it's in a big mochaccino yarn, and it's in the color Boundless. Now, I do really love this tubular cast on that they show in the pattern, and they have a YouTube video linked. So this is how you make the neckline. It's beautiful. I really like it. It is just so for the top part, just kind of to keep your shoulders warm. In the pattern is made to do stripes of color. So if you have a lot of knitting and a lot of yarns left over, you could do a striped version of this. I just wanted to try the pattern, so I don't have a lot of like apparel yarn that I would use. This is very cozy and it very squishy. Like it does feel nice. So for like I'm not a yarn snob. Like I don't mind if it's washable. I don't mind if it's acrylic. Like it's all about the cushy amount for me. So that's done. So now I get to choose a different project to work on. So when it comes to cross stitch, like right now I have 11 projects. And for people who know me, they know 10 is my sweet spot. So that's where I go. With knitting, one project. I don't have multiple projects at this point. Crochet is just the one, although there may be a little other crochet project coming in, but we'll see about that. Then we get into quilting. So quilting, I have multiple projects again. The first one I'm going to talk about is a fostered piece. So I say fostered because if you've been following a long time, you know that I make things for a charity called the Ujamagrammas that supports the Stephen Lewis Foundation. And we have a huge fabric and yarn sale in the spring of the year. And people donate to us their quilt fabrics, notions, and unfinished projects. So one of the unfinished projects we got was this beautiful star block. So what we received was this block inside here. Well, that was just too beautiful to not use. So what I did was I did a binding or a border in black and then a border in this. And what is amazing, in the same, well, maybe it isn't amazing, maybe it came from the same quilter. There was this block and there was this fabric kind of in the same boxes. And so we actually had this fabric to work with. And then you can see I did quilting on there. You can see I kind of did the star. I think it's beautiful. So this will be in our next October Bags, Babies, and Beyond charity event sale that we do every year. So it's always nice to finish off some of those lost projects. So I mentioned I had Quilt Guild parties. Well, for one of our Quilt Guild parties, we were doing a rug mug swap. And so I thought, oh yeah, I want to try that. So I went on to Pinterest, and of course, there are thousands and thousands of mug rugs. And so this is the first one that I saw, and so I made this one, and I really thought that was sweet. So there's that one. But it took a long time. And as I'm making these, I'm thinking, well, I'll make some and whatever, I'll make a few. I'll choose one for Quilt Guild. I'll keep a couple for friends. And then the rest I'll give to Bags, Babies, and Beyond to sell. But that's, I mean, what's the most we can get for this at a charity sale? $9-10 probably. Well, it took a whole day, so that's not. So then I found an easier one that I thought this is cute. I quite liked this one with the snowman, with the bird. And then, you keep seeing these. So then I saw one with the sewing machine with the pin cushions. And I love that. So, this one was easy enough that I thought, yes, I'm going to make a couple of these. And so I actually made 3. I also made one in red. That was what I took to the rug mug swap. And I'll show you the swap that I received. And isn't that wonderful? I love it. A little nomad. And this was by one of my quilt buddies, Patty Jo. Love it. Every time I look at it, I just smile. It's wonderful. All right, so that's quilting. I am working on a Christmas runner that I'll hopefully show you the next time. All right, I think I am to books. So I read or listened to some really good books. First one I'll mention is called The Housekeepers. This is by Alex Hay, and this is a debut novel for him. And they describe it as Downton Abbey meets Ocean 11. So imagine the night of London's greatest ball, and there's a bold group of the women who work downstairs who pull off a daring heist. One of the main characters is Mrs. King, and she is no ordinary housekeeper. She knows about con artists and thieves. And then there's Mrs. Bone, who is the black market queen of the area. There's an actress who really wants to have a magnificent part. There's a seamstress who's dreaming of a better life. And these women get together to, in an act of revenge, but also an act of getting what they deserve. I loved it. It's like, never underestimate the women who do the work. They will survive and flourish. And then the next book I just finished listening to was called The Leftover Woman. And this is by Jean Kwok. This book is very suspenseful. It goes between the lives of two women who are mothers and the struggles they have in their own worlds. They come from very different worlds. Jasmine comes from China, where she had a child and was told that the child died at birth. And it isn't until a couple years later that she actually finds out that her child was given away to an American couple so that the family could continue to have children and hopefully have a male child. China had a one-child policy, and that can result in female children not surviving, or if they do survive, not being treated as the truly valuable people they are. And then there's Rebecca Whitney, and she is a wealthy, high-powered publisher, editor, and the mother of a child that was adopted from China. And so these two women have that similarity. And this is a story of what mothers will do for their children. Even though there were economic differences, cultural differences, they both were focused on their child. So another really good book. The last one I'm going to talk about is this is really quirky. It all takes place on New Year's Eve in 1984. And it's called Lillian Boxfish Takes a Walk. And it's by Kathleen Rooney. Lillian Boxfish is 85 years old. She lives in New York City. She loves New York City. She's lived in New York City since she was a young woman. She got into advertising at a department store. And at one time, she was the highest paid advertising woman in America. But because of the times when she was this advertising executive, when women got married, they resigned from their positions. So through flashbacks, we learn about her life as a married woman, as a mother, how she manages through depression and divorce. But it really is too a celebration of, you know, the diversity of people that is New York City. She goes for a walk. She goes for a walk through the night in New York City, and she meets bartenders and store clerks and chauffeurs and criminals and children and parents. Like it's a slow moving but lovely book. So 3 very different books, but they're all good. So that was great. All right, so I hope there was something here today that you enjoyed listening to. I hope you are all enjoying holiday preparations, however that might look for you. I'm really starting to look forward to the new year and what my life as a creator, maker, stitcher, sewer, quilter will look like. So I'll be thinking about that, and hopefully before the year's end I'll come back with a whip parade. It'll be a short parade, here's hoping, but with a short parade but huge plans for 2024. All right, thank you everyone, and take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.